Welcome to the second part of the Django and React Native tutorial series. In this one, we are going to extend our simple stack navigation and nest it into a drawer navigation. So let me show you exactly what we are going to create. Over here, I have a menu button. When I press it, we can see a nice side navigation, and we have our event stack. We will also add a simple profile stack and a more info a button which will take us to google.com if we press it. And we can return to Expo Go, and we will also have an image at the top of our navigation. So this is what we are going to create. And without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, so this is where we finished off the last time. So we have a simple stack navigation added, and right now we are going to extend the navigation system for our application by adding a drawer navigation and nesting the stack navigation that we created and adding more to our drawer navigation. So if this seems complicated, I'm going to walk you through step by step on how to do this. So the first step is, of course, to install drawer navigation. For this, we need to head over to the official documentation. So I'm at reactnavigation.org, and what we need to do over here is to find drawer navigator. And basically over here we have a demonstration of the very basic drawer navigation that we are going to create in the first step. So in order to achieve this result, we need to follow the steps below, and we need to start from the installation, of course. So first of all, let's install React Navigation Drawer. I'm going to copy this comment. I'm going to quit the development server from running, and I'm going to paste it. All right. Then if we have a managed project in Expo, we need to also install React Native Gesture Handler and React Native Reanimated. So I'm going to copy this as well and paste it. All right. So then we also need to go to the step number 2, where the documentation tells us basically to not skip this step because our application might work well in the development mode if we don't import React Native Gesture Handler. However, it may crash in the production. So let's not skip this step. Let's go to app.js, and at the top, let's bring in import React Native Gesture Handler. All right. So this is it. And the third step, I think it's not necessary for Expo projects, but yeah. Anyway, let's copy it. Let's paste it. And yeah, we have confirmation that CocoaPods is not supported in this project. All right. So this step seems to be redundant over here. Anyways, let's continue. We have over here a very simple example of drawer navigation, and the logic is very similar to the stack navigator. So we are importing create drawer navigator. We are instantiating this drawer navigation. Then we have a function called, in this case, my drawer, and we have a main parent component, which is a drawer navigator. And inside we add screens that we want to add to this drawer navigator. All right. So once the drawer navigation opens, we will see feed and article in this case. Let's copy everything from over here. Let's go to our events application. Let's open up the navigation section, the navigation directory. And here let's add a drawer.js file. Okay, I'm going to simply paste what I have copied from the documentation, and I'm going to adjust it a little bit. I'm going to write export const. Let's call this as it is. So let's leave it my drawer. And then let's turn this to an arrow function where we will have only one screen available, and it's going to be our home screen. So home, and let's bring in home screen. All right, so Let's save this and let's bring it into app.js. So over here we have our home stack. And now what we need to do is to bring in our drawer. So my drawer, there it is. Let's save it. And let's see if this is actually going to work. So npx expo start. All right. I'm going to hit R to refresh the simulator. And as you can see, there are some issues. At least I have some issues. So if you have these kinds of problems, there's one additional step, and that's it's not visible in the documentation. However, I'm going to show you how to deal with those kinds of errors. We need to go back to Visual Studio Code, open up our Babel config.js, and add a plugin for React Native Reanimated. Okay, so let's save this. And now let's hope everything is going to work. I'm going to press R. Okay, let's quit the development server and run npx expo start -- clear. All right, and now let's press R. All right, so now we have this drawer navigation, and as you can see, it's working. So we have our home screen available. However, the problem is right now that our stack navigation doesn't work. And right now I'm going to prove it to you. See, we have an error. So in our case, we don't want to nest a screen because a screen is only representation of the screen. We lose our navigation to the detail page. So in order for this to work, we actually need to nest inside of the drawer navigation, not a screen like we did over here, but our stack. So we need to bring in our home stack into the drawer navigation. So let's do this. Home stack. Let's get rid of this home screen. Let's save this. And I'm going to reload the page. Okay, we have some... this is just a warning. This is just a warning because we have navigation nested in another navigation with the same name. So let's ignore this just for a second. Now we have our home screen, and we still can use our stack navigation. All right. So in order for the errors to disappear, let's name this home2 just for now. We're going to reload it. And now everything seems to be okay. No errors, no errors anymore. All right. So we have home and home2. As the next step, let's play around with those navigations. Let's try to hide the home. So let's try to hide the header for the stack navigation first. All right. So what I'm going to do is to go to the stack navigator, and I'm going to access the screen options. And then as the next step, I'm going to set header shown as false. All right. Let's save this. Let's go back, and we don't see the navigation for the stack. All right. So now we only have the drawer navigation. However, if we access the page, the detail page, we now lose the option to go back. So this is not exactly what we want to do. Let's go back to our stack navigator. Let's cut the screen options. Let's save the stack.js. Let's go to the drawer, and let's paste this code into the drawer navigator. All right. And here in the drawer screen, let's also add some options. So actually, for now, let's add one option, which is going to be the title. And let's set it simply to home. And this, let's name not home2, but home stack. All right. So now let's save this. And as you can see, we have home. However, this is not exactly what we wanted as well, because right now we lost our navigation button. Okay. So what we can do right now is to set up some navigation options for our stack navigator. And we can say that, for example, according to those options, we would like to see over here a logo. Over here, we would like to see a hamburger menu. The background should be, for example, pink, and this font color should be, for example, blue or yellow. Okay, let's try to do this by going back to Visual Studio Code. Let's create an options.js file. And over here, let's export const nav options, and this function will take in a navigation. All right, and then we will simply return, and here we need to decide what we want to return. Let's start slowly. So what I'm going to do is maybe to set the header tint color. And right now, let's just write header tint color, and let's set it, for example, to red. Okay, so this is the first step. Right now, what we need to do is to go to our stack navigation, and here we need to use those navigation options. So in the stack navigator, let's write screen options. And right now we will use our nav options. It's not going to auto import, so I'm going to have to do it manually, unless if I try it over here, nav options. There it is. Perfect. Okay, nav options. And then we need to pass the navigation. So over here, let's try to also auto import use navigation. Let's set navigation is equal to use navigation, and now we can pass the navigation in our nav options. Let's save this and let's see if this will work. And there it is. Our header tint color has changed to red. As the next step, let's install Expo vector icons. We will need this for our hamburger menu. So I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to quit the development server from running. Let's wait a few seconds. All right. And now we can run Expo one more time. It's not necessary to run it with the clear option. I did it by accident, you can say. Okay. And now we can actually go back to our options.js file, and let's configure this a little bit more. So I'm going to change the header tint color to CBD5E1. Then I'm going to set the header style. And here I'm just going to set the background color. And let's set it to 0F17 to A, like this. Let's save this. And now we have a little bit darker color. So right now the issue is that we don't see our status bar. So let's go back to app.js and let's bring in status bar from Expo. Let's set the style to light. Let's save this. And there it is. Okay. Now we can go back to our options.js. So we have set the header tint color, the header style. Let's also set the right section. All right, so for the right section, we need to write header right. Okay, and I forgot about the comma. And here what we are going to set is an maybe icon for opening the drawer. So this is why we are passing the navigation, because we need to toggle our drawer. So I'm going to go to Ion icons. I'm going to use Ion icons from Expo vector icons. And I'm going to set the name to, excuse me, menu. I'm going to set the size to 32. Okay, 32. The color, let's set it just to white. And then on press, what we want to do is to toggle our navigation. So on press, you want to toggle our navigation. So let's do it this way, nav, and then toggle drawer. Okay, so this should work if we close our Ion icons component. Let's save this, and we have our menu burger, which should open our drawer, and there it is. Okay, so as you can see, this is working. So let's also set something on the left side. So for now, I'm just going to keep it extremely simple, and I'm going to place header left, and what we want to return over here is a text component. Text, let's bring it from React Native, and let's place in logo, and let's add some inline styling for the color. Let's set it also to white. Let's set the font size to 20, and maybe add some padding on the left, 5. Okay, let's save this, and there it is. Okay, so we have logo, and then we have our menu button for the drawer. Unfortunately, this doesn't solve our problems, at least not all of them, because what will happen if I access any detail page? So maybe let's go with the first one. Okay, over here we have a situation that we see the correct screen, we see the correct data, however we can't go back, and the only way to go back is by restarting the application, because we can't go to home because we are still in the home stack. This is absolutely correct. So what we want to do is to move to the previous screen, but we unfortunately can't. So only for the details screen, instead of logo, let's just put here some back button, all right? And we need to do it in the details screen. So if we go back to Visual Studio Code, and let's go to screens and then event details screen, and over here below the route params, let's write use layout effect. We will use layout effect instead of use effect, and I'm going to explain this in my next React.js tutorial. So if you are interested, I should release it quite soon. It's a matter of days. Okay, and then I'm going to access the navigation set options like this. And here I'm going to do some modifications. For example, okay, and also let's leave an empty dependency array, and then let's return to setting the navigation options only for the event detail screen. So here, for example, I can put in a new title. Header title. Let's set it to a new title. For example, detail, or let's just put in new title. Let's keep it simple. Okay. So let's save this. And we can't find variable navigation, so we need to bring in navigation. So navigation, or let's bring in the use navigation hook first. We have a auto import. and let's assign navigation to use navigation. Okay, now this should work. Let's go to the detail page, and as you can see, we have a new title. All right. Okay, so what we need to do right now is to set the header left. Header left. Okay, and here we want to use a header back button. And unfortunately, in the previous version, the header back button was imported from React Navigation stack directly. And right now in the new one is imported from React Navigation elements. And I'm not so sure it works 100% correctly. I might be wrong. However, let's take a look at it. So I've imported header back button from React Navigation elements. And now I'm going to simply return this header back button. Okay. And what I'm going to do right now is to set the tint color to white. And what we want to do on press is to simply go back. So we can write navigation, go back. And let's close this header back button. Let's save it. And unfortunately, we don't see the label for our home screen. So even if I set the label to, for example, previous screen or just previous, and I made a mistake, label like this doesn't work. And I have to check why, because I'm not quite sure. Okay, so let's see if the functionality works. So I'm going to press this button and we are back in our main screen. All right. Okay, so now what we are going to do is to add the profile stack. So we will create two simple screens for two reasons. The first one is we don't want this drawer navigation to only have one option. The second thing is let's practice how to add another navigation option into the drawer navigation, because as you remember probably, it's not about creating a screen, it's about creating a stack. So first of all, we need to create the screens, then put them into a stack, and then the stack needs to land in the drawer navigation. Okay, so let's do it very quickly. We need to return to our Visual Studio Code. In the screens directory, I'm going to create another one called profiles. Let's keep it simple. Okay, and then we will have a profiles screen JS. And if this would be only a screen that is just to display some profiles without the option to see the details of those profiles, this would be enough. We could go directly into the drawer and register this screen as an option. However, as mentioned before, let's practice adding stacks. So in this case, what I'm going to do is to add also a profile detail screen. Okay, and what I'm going to do is to simply copy and paste them. So this looks basically exactly as the screen for the event detail. Okay, it even has the same title. Let's remove this. And over here, we are just returning and displaying the profile ID, which we get from route params. And this profile ID is going to be fixed. So in the profile screen, what we are going to return is a text and a button which will navigate us to the profile. And this navigation navigate works because we are going to register a screen in our stack named profile. All right. So we will do this in just a second. And then as you can see, the profile ID is 1. So over here, let's just save this profile screen. And in the profile detail, we are picking this profile ID, which will always be 1 in this particular case. So as mentioned before, let's go to the stack, because this is the next thing that we need to do. And again, I'm just going to copy and paste this profile stack. So over here, we have the main screen as profiles, and this is our profile screen. And then we have a profile details screen below named profile. Okay, I need to also take care of the imports. And right now, everything should be working, except we need also to add this to our drawer. So let's save the stack.js and let's go to the drawer.js and let's copy the drawer screen. And we will do something very similar. So let's name this profile stack. Profile stack. Let's bring in the profile stack. And as the title, we will set profiles. Let's save this. And let's see if this is working. Okay, so we have home and profiles. We can go to profiles and then we can visit some profile. And we have this back button and this is our main screen. So now we can navigate between two stacks. In the home, we can access our event detail. And then if we move to the profiles, we can access some profile. All right, it seems pretty simple. So before we finish this video, I would like to show you how to adjust this drawer menu just a little bit by adding an image at the top, by adding a drawer item with a link to google.com at the end. And also let's change the background color. Okay, so in order to do this, let's go back to our drawer.js, and I'm going to delete this drawer navigator wrapper at the top and simply paste the ready code, and I'm going to explain everything in just a second. So how this works is basically by imagining that you have a drawer item list, and the drawer item list are your screens. Okay, so whenever you do it this way, that you return in the drawer content, you return a view. So in our case, it's a save area view since I'm working on iOS. You will have to put somewhere the drawer item list. And as mentioned before, this is the drawer item list. So right now, what you can do is to add, for example, an image at the top. So before the drawer item list appears. So in this case, this is our drawer item list. This is item 1, this is item 2. So as you can see before, we are placing an image, and actually I got this image from Pixabay, and right now I need to place it in the proper place. So we need to go to assets. Here, let's create a folder images. Inside of images, let's add another folder logos, and let's place it over here. Okay, so this is the image that we are going to use, and we have a safe area view with some inline styling. We have some styling for the view, and I also need to bring in the styles for the logo. So actually I can do it also as inline styling. So let's set the width to 100 and the resize mode, resize mode should be set to contain. Okay, so let's save this, and this won't work because we are missing some imports, of course. So image, let's try it over here. Image from React Native, there it is. We also need a view and a safe area view, All right, let's try it. We also need a drawer item list, of course, drawer item list. All right, Let's see if this will work or not. I'm going to press reload. And there it is, as you can see. So we've set the background color in the safe area view. Okay, here is the background color. And we have our image, which is in images logos logo. Okay, so this is working as well. And then we have our drawer item list. So as the next step, we can add a drawer item below this drawer item list with a link to google.com. So right now what we need to do is to go actually below the drawer item list. So over here, and bring in drawer item from React navigation drawer. Okay. And this is a self-closing component. Let's set the label to more info, for example. And then we need to specify what will happen on press. So on press, we want to navigate to google.com, and we can do this by using linking. So we need to bring in linking from React Native. So linking, there it is. Okay. And then we simply need to write open URL, and we need to specify what URL do we want to open. So in our case, it's going to be google.com. Okay. And let's return and see if it's working. So over here we have more info. And as you can see, we are taken to google.com. So in fact, this is working. So the last thing that I want to show you in this tutorial is how to add icons to our items that we have in our drawer navigation. So we will first attack the drawer item. So in our case, it's more info. And then we will take care of the drawer screens, home and profiles. Okay, so we will again use Expo vector icons. Let's go to the drawer item. And over here, let's set the icon. So we are going to return, as mentioned before, a vector icon. So we will use ion icons, and the name is going to be information like this, and the size I'm going to set to 22. Okay, let's save this, and we have our icon over here. All right, so as the next step, let's take care of the home and the profiles. So in the drawer screen, also in the options, let's write drawer icon. And here, let's simply, again, return an ion icon, and the name is going to be home in this case, and also the size is going to be set to 22. Okay. So of course, there needs to be a comma. Let's copy this drawer icon and let's place it in the drawer screen for the profiles. And here the name is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be face man profile. Okay, let's save this. Let's go back, and I think I made a mistake. Face man profile. Oh, okay, it's going to be not icon this time. It's going to be material community icons. Okay, so we are going to use this time material community icons, not ion icons. So let's save this, and there it is. All right, so we have a drawer navigation working. We have nested actually our stack navigations into our drawer navigation, and we've added an additional drawer item into our main navigation. In our case, the main navigation is our drawer navigation. So I think we can finish off over here. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and we will continue in the next one. Have a great day, take care, and bye-bye.